This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Respecting the nature of man, there are two ideas current in the religious circles of Christendom. One is the teaching, and the other is the common acceptation of it. The first is not secret, to be sure, in the Church, but it is so seldom dwelt upon in the hearing of the litany as to be almost arcane for the ordinary person. Nearly everyone says he has a soul and a body, and there it ends. What the soul is, and whether it is the real person, or whether it has any powers of its own, are not inquired into, the preachers usually confining themselves to its salvation or damnation. And by thus talking of it as something different from oneself, the people have acquired an underlying notion that they are not souls because the soul may be lost by them. From this has come about a tendency to materialism, causing men to pay more attention to the body than to the soul, the latter being left to the tender mercies of the priest of the Roman Catholics, and among dissenters the care of it is most frequently put off to the dying day. But when the true teaching is known, it will be seen that the care of the soul, which is the self, is a vital matter requiring attention every day, and not to be deferred without grievous injury resulting to the whole man, both soul and body. The Christian teaching, supported by St. Paul, since upon him, in fact, dogmatic Christianity rests, is that man is composed of body, soul, and spirit. This is the threefold constitution of man, believed by the theologians, but kept in the background because its examination might result in the readoption of views once orthodox but now heretical. For when we thus place soul between spirit and body, we come very close to the necessity for looking into the question of the soul's responsibility, since mere body can have no responsibility. And in order to make the soul responsible for the acts performed, we must assume that it has powers and functions. From this, it is easy to take the position that the soul may be rational or irrational, as the Greeks sometimes thought, and then there is but a step to further theosophical propositions. This threefold scheme of nature of man contains, in fact, the theosophical teaching of his sevenfold constitution, because the four other divisions missing from the category can be found in the powers and functions of body and soul, as I shall attempt to show later on. This conviction that man is a septenary and not merely a duad was held long ago and very plainly taught to everyone with accompanying demonstrations. But like other philosophical tenets, it disappeared from sight, because gradually withdrawn at the time when in the east of Europe morals were degenerating, and before materialism had gained full sway in company with skepticism, its twin. Upon its withdrawal, the present dogma of body, soul, spirit was left to Christendom. The reason for that concealment and its rejuvenescence in this century is well put by Madame H. P. Blavatsky in The Secret Doctrine. In answer to the statement, we cannot understand how any danger could arise from the revelation of such a purely philosophical doctrine as the evolution of the planetary chain, she says, "The danger was this. Doctrines such as the planetary chain or the seven races at once give a clue to the sevenfold nature of man, for each principle is correlated to a plane, a planet, and a race, and the human principles are, on every plane, correlated to the sevenfold occult forces, those of the higher planes being of tremendous occult power, the abuse of which would cause incalculable evil to humanity, a clue which is perhaps no clue to the present generation, especially the Westerns, protected as they are by their very blindness and ignorant materialistic belief in the occult, but a clue which would, nevertheless,